Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We've got sound, I hope. We have sound. We've got a slew of news, and guys, we got some serious stories that people that we know are going through, and they're about to have some hard times. I'm talking about losing everything and having to downsize, downgrade their life. And this is going to get worse. It's just kind of hitting close to home for us. But anyway, I don't want to say too much. But
Yeah, well, we want to be careful because people call in and talk to us, so we want to be careful what we say because we don't ever want to, what's the word?
I just want to make sure everybody gets the real news. You know, this is.
But we don't want to say things that you guys don't want us to say about what's going on in your lives. But you've
Well,
allowed
yeah,
us to
but
say
I would never
certain
say
things.
names.
No. But anyway,
No.
well, let's start out with the first one that you
We
guys.
can all learn from our mistakes.
We can. So let's just talk out. Let's start out with scams.
All right, there's plenty of those to talk about.
Let's talk about scams. So
All right,
we
hit me
talked
with
about one the other day about where the older gentleman called in and he had got hit with a scam and he was scammed into buying. He brought $400,000 to the table and he walked away with basically $180,000 because he was scammed into buying such high premiums. So you guys, if you're going to do a 401k or you're buying precious metals or you're looking out for your retirement, make sure and be careful what you're purchasing and what stuff you're putting it into.
People's audio's intermittent.
Oh, am I good or bad? Sometimes I'm bad.
I don't think it's us. Is it us? Y'all let me know.
Are we good or bad?
Give me a thumbs up for good. Hit the like button if it's good. Sounds good here. Okay.
I'm trying to follow the chat so we can keep up because we're on the phone up here.
So, guys, we talk about the precious metal scams all the time. Yes, we peddle precious metals for Miles Franklin. Stacy does. She's a broker. But I always encourage people to go 2 other places first. Make Stacy your 3rd bid. Get 3 bids. People call these numbers because they heard it on somebody's YouTube channel. And as soon as they answer the phone, it is high pressure sales. It's not going to be here long. You got to buy it now. You know, anytime you hear that, a red flag goes up. Stop right there. Done. Go somewhere else.
And another thing, a lot of you guys have called in and you've heard fear-mongering videos of where you've got to buy now, you've got to buy now, and you call me. And I'm going to be honest, I've actually talked several of you guys out of not buying. Yeah, that's a commission I lost. But you know, at the end of the day, I didn't care because you guys were you were fear-mongered into buying when you didn't even have certain other things. You were scammed into being a fear. And so another couple called in the other day, and this has really bothered me a whole lot, that where they were approached by a family member to take out a loan, and help me out with this a little bit, because we were talking about this a little bit, where they were approached by a family member to take out a loan, and they put a lien on their home, and their home was debt-free.
Paid for
Completely. And these other people the family members that asked them to take out a debt on this loan have no obligation to this loan, and now they're not paying it. So now this person is left holding a loan. And they
have
called.
0 leverage. Never give up your leverage. Always have something.
Yep.
They have nothing. Now they might lose their house. And these people are older. They're not going to do well with that.
Well, they were honest with me, and they gave me some facts, and pretty much if these people do not pay that loan, it will wipe them out. And I said, well, what are you going to do? And they'll have to sell everything they have.
And this loan, this said loan, was a variable rate.
Yep.
So the business that was loaned for, that they were supposed to use the money for, is now having trouble because, you know, discretionary spending is getting cut.
Yep.
And interest rates are going up. So they were barely paying the interest before. What do you think they're going to do now? Oh, sorry, I didn't pay. You'll just have to live somewhere else. Crazy. It is nuts.
Here's the thing I want to, I guess, what I took away from all these phone calls that I've been listening to lately is you guys don't ever, be careful with family. Be careful with people that come and ask you stuff. Be careful with people that come and say, hey, they're trying to high pressure you sell thing into anything. Be careful for scams. Question things. I just had someone call me the other day about something that was one of our taxes, and I questioned him like heck. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude to you. I said, but I don't trust anyone anymore. So prove to me who you are. And he did. He said, I get that. He said, my mother was scammed not too long ago. So anyway.
Well, just FYI, we don't rent our properties, our rental properties, to family or friends. We don't loan money to family or friends. That's what banks are for. We're not a bank. These people that we're talking about are not a bank, but they chose to be the bank. And now...
David Morris just had a really good comment. He said, never co-sign on anything with another family member. David, you are dead on. Chris and I have agreed to that.
Too.
And actually, I had a family member actually call and request money one time, and I said, sorry, I'm not doing it. And I didn't even ask Chris. I didn't even go to Chris because he and I have an agreement on that kind of stuff. I mean, if someone's in desperate need and they need the electricity paid, that's one thing. But
no, it's the same thing. I made a video, I made a YouTube channel to warn people. And these people should be watching and paying attention, but they're too busy keeping up with the Joneses and buying new vehicles and new houses and just, blowing and going. Now, if they can't pay their electricity bill on their big new house, I don't care. It's not my fault. I have sacrificed more than probably anybody.
We have.
That I know.
We have.
I'm sure there's a few. I'm sure you guys sacrificed, but no vehicles, no new house, none of that. And I'm not going to be bailing the people out that got to enjoy all that. And now they're belly up, not doing it.
My heart just hurts for the older people that get scammed with these kind of things. So you guys watch out for your parents.
Problem.
And matter of fact, I just had a talk with my parents the other day, and I'm getting ready to sit down with them, and we're getting ready to meet with an attorney. I finally got them to meet with an attorney with me, and we're going to put some things into place. And it's not an easy conversation, and it's not something you necessarily want to do. Chris actually just had it with his parents the other day. He just sat down when they came to visit us the other day, and he sat down and had a talk with them too. It's not something you want to do, but you have to do it. We know somebody right now, but our friend, that is paying the price, and he tried to get his parents to listen to him, and now he's paying thousands of dollars a month, and he's actually going to do a video about this pretty soon, and that's up to him to talk about. But you guys,
that's going to be good too.
That is something that you've got to do.
If you're not following Side Hustle Survivalist, that dude has got it going on. I'm serious. He has got more side hustles and has done more. The Economic Ninja did a lot of side hustles too. I don't know who's done more, and I don't care. But fact is, he's really been a blessing. He's got these ideas, and he's really good at what he does, so you should check him out. And the Shielded Prepper. He's probably in the comments.
I like the Shielded Prepper because he believes in God, and
he
really comes out there.
He talks about the Bible in every video. He can't help himself.
June Morgan, I love talking to you. You said, I don't even give my adult kids money. And that's true. I had a talk with my dad about that. I said, Dad, you've never given me any money. I've never called and asked you for anything. So anyway, you guys just look out for your parents. Don't let them be scammed by either their family members or just anybody calling them, and we'll leave it at that. But yeah, it really bothered me this past week. It's kind of been burdened on me. So.
Well, go ahead with the other scam.
Which other scam are we talking about?
Did you cover all the scams?
Which other scam? There's probably 1,000 of them out there. You want to talk about the cameras?
People
you want
really
to talk
starting to hurt.
No, they are. They are.
Oh, I did. I jotted down some stuff earlier. 61% of American adults are living paycheck to paycheck. Rents have become 60% of median take-home pay. 60%. 39% of adults, that would be 90 million Americans, are having difficulty paying for necessities. Mm-hmm. Americans feel they need to earn $233,000 a year to be financially secure. Well, the people I know that make that kind of money blow it. It doesn't really, that's the thing. It doesn't really matter how much money you have. If you don't know how to take it, a fool and his money will soon part. And if you don't know how to handle it, you might as well not have it. And that's kind of the way I've always thought about it.
Yep.
I could go into a little bit more, but I'm going to hold up on that. But
We can get off on a tangent because it's really bothered us this week. We've been contacted by several different people, and it's really bothered us this week. Different things.
well, it's starting to happen. Everything
Yeah.
we've been talking about is starting to happen.
Well, you want to get
It's happening
into
in Germany too. But let me not jump ahead. Go ahead.
No, we can go. So we can talk
Do
about
that one first.
So let's just talk. We'll still stay in America first, then we're going to go overseas because I got a couple overseas stories that I think is going to eventually hit home too. And you guys, please let me know if I'm too loud again. I've got it lower tonight, so hopefully it'll help. But we've talked about so many foreclosures, you guys. We've talked about the yellow, the trucking industry. We've talked about all these different bankruptcies. We've talked about things that I just did today about different. They're forecasting what they're going to make, which it's lowered. You're talking about banks, Dollar General. This is another one, you guys, that just kind of hit the market. They were saying that they were only going to have hopefully an 8%. I think Wall Street was saying hopefully a 6%. Well, now has it come to be like a 34% loss? I mean, it went way down. Their loss is this. They're really struggling, and they were the ones that were kind of reaching out into the rural areas. They were reaching, and we've had different. Was it Dollar General or Dollar? Is it Dollar General? That was right down the
Dollar
road.
General by us, and it's awesome.
It is. It's awesome. But if you go,
You live
if you
in the
drive
country,
by,
man, Dollar General's nice.
there's not a lot of people there. There's really not. Every time I drive
See,
by,
that's strange to me because in the last downturn, Dollar General did pretty good.
they did. But
Walmart
they have
does
a loss
pretty
right
good.
now.
What is it for?
They're just saying retailers citing pressures from rising labor costs, markdowns, sell edges, trailing Dollar Tree, Walmart. They're just struggling right now, and their forecasted loss has ended up being a lot more. So they have been they're seeing
Rising labor costs. It's all the things.
Anyway.
All the normal things.
They declined. So this is what it says. They said they thought that they would be about 8%. Wall Street estimated about 6%, but actually now they're going to tumble about 34%.
Whoa, talking about missing the mark.
Yeah, missing the mark. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've been watching that stock. I was wanting to trade it because it started to look attractive. Because it had been coming down, but I guess it's gone down a little bit more. Where to next, Missy? Miss Lady?
Miss Lady.
Driving Miss Daisy.
He does. He drives me around. So let's talk about India for a minute.
India's really interesting.
I got a couple articles on India.
Okay.
And I've been watching today, and you and I have been talking about India for a couple months now. Well, actually about almost a year now, where it seems to be the next growth.
Yeah, India is what the United States used to be.
Yeah.
They're moving on up.
Yeah. So you've got right now, so even private lenders or private residents or individuals or whatever, they want to remain anonymous. You guys, all these articles are on our Twitter. Go to our Twitter. I posted them all today. Private individuals are going to this bank in India, one of the biggest India banks, and they are saying, hey, here's our funds, and they're wanting to invest in residential property over in India, and they're wanting to remain anonymous. Residential property, they said, is becoming a really big deal in India. Because it's growing over there, the commercial's growing. There's also the big tech companies are wanting to move over there. They're wanting to create laptops over there. I mean, we're talking about big tech companies. They just asked for a lot of money from India that they want to start doing plants over there. So why not invest? And India's becoming.
Well, that was one of the things that as currencies die and superpowers die, they usually have a collision and there's war, but money goes to where it's treated best. And India is the closest thing to a free market that the planet knows, as far as I know. If there's anywhere better than India, let me know. Where's a better place to invest? Because you guys are super smart, but India is, they're really, the whole free market thing is really doing its job, just like it should do here, but we're not into that. Corporate greed killed this place.
And we hit really high for a little bit of oil prices today. It closed the barrels.
How much? What would it go
I
to?
forget. I was driving home and I wrote it down and I left it in the car. But by you guys, we're at 340 something people and we got 160 likes. I'm going to ask again, will you please go like our video? And we'll keep going with this. I know. I asked, knock off the video, get back and like it, because this really helps us. because we do spend time trying to
Singapore.
research.
I've heard Singapore, Patrick. That was a good place to
invest in Singapore.
Yeah.
So why would Singapore be a good place to invest?
Same reason India is.
Well, because it's a little bit controversial right now. You got a little bit of an outbreak, and you got Taiwan. You've got that whole Japan thing right there.
Speaking of Singapore, Singapore and Qatar and Libya are increasing their gold reserves, and they're hitting record levels.
They are.
You know, that just goes to show you.
They are.
People are really starting to, and it's always, you know, the people way up that see things first. And countries that are hoarding gold should be a red flag to people. It should be, hey, they're doing something. Maybe I should. This indicates their belief, the long-term stability and potential for gold growth. It should, guys. I have a feeling we're going to talk about currency in a little bit, about the Brazil. The Brazil currency, she's got it on her computer, and how they're going to have their own currency. They said it again today,
yep.
But it's not going to compete with the dollar. It's going to be Brazil for the real. Isn't that what it was?
What was their commodity currency? Well, I have to go back and find the article.
It's
I forget.
think about that, guys.
So
a commodity backed by
They're going to swap among themselves. They're going to leave the dollar out instead of going through the dollar and then going to the next country. They're going to leave the dollar out and swap among themselves.
See, we used to go to war over that kind of thing. If somebody tried to get one over on the dollar, it was the world reserve currency, and that was the end of it. But now, okay, y'all do what you do over there. We're fine. What did Jerome Powell say? Oh, it's not uncommon for there to be a couple of reserve currencies. Yeah, right. It's the first time I heard that one, actually.
They're asking for more arm wrestling bets. They want us to arm wrestle. I still say I'll beat him.
I'll have to move. We'll have to do it on the anvil.
Oh, I have my ways. I will beat him. Trust me. All right.
Or else. You let me win or else.
All right, let's keep talking about India for a second. So we've got the G20 summit coming up, right? September 7th through the 12th. We got that coming up again in India. And guess who's going? Of course, Janet Yellen. But guess who is saying they possibly are going to miss it for the first time in I don't know how many years? China. China is saying for the first time in, let's see how many years. I forget how many years it said, but they have said that for the first time, China has said they're going to miss it. And it is a signal that China is reluctant to be under the influence of, well, one of us, matter of fact, of the different economies. The dollar is...
chat from Divvy Daddy.
Nope, BRICS will create their own CBDCs and trade with each other without the dollar. I agree with you. I agree with you, Patrick.
And it'll be backed by commodities, not just gold. It's more than likely going to be backed by all the stuff we need. Dirt, property over there, you name it. Name something of value, that's probably what they're going to back their currency with. And I would just guess it's going to have computer chips, everything we need to make them, all of that stuff, and it's going to make those things go higher. All the stuff that we need to make the stuff we use every day will go up when these other countries back their currency with it, because we won't be able to whip up fake paper and send it over there. That's our number one export, is dollars. And if they're not using the dollars, what do we do?
Well, I talked to a guy the other day, and this has been a couple months ago. This has been probably 6-8 months ago. But he was talking about Venezuela, where China and Russia came in, and they literally took everything out of the ground that was of value, and they were using it. They destroyed parts of Venezuela. He said there were trees that would never come back, parts of wildlife that would never come back because they were taking the minerals and the goods that were out of there. And that's what a lot of these countries have, and they're getting that. And China has loaned, and we've talked about this, you guys, they have loaned all these countries this monies, and now their debts are coming due, and they're going into these countries, and they're taking all these valuable commodities. So there you go. What do you want to move on to next? But that's kind of where we are with the BRICS. We'll see what happens.
We can move on to Germany. I see you got it pulled up over there.
Well, whenever you're ready, I'll go with what you're following.
Germany's really interesting, and read what you thought, and I'll read what I got wrote down.
So Germany's an interesting property market. And I have never lived in Germany. I've never visited Germany. I've talked to a lot of people that have been to Germany.
Wait a minute. By the way, if you want to invest in bricks, buy gold.
That's true. That's true. Or buy silver.
Anyway, go ahead.
You're absolutely right. And by the way, silver and gold is still up. When we were talking a couple of weeks ago, if you bought silver and gold, you have done good. So there you go. Germany's property market, though, you guys, I'm not very familiar with it. I only know what I've been told. I talked to several people over the last, I would say, 6 months about the Germany property market. And what I found interesting, and you guys tell me if this is true, most of the Germany property market is rental property. It's most investors. And I did not even know this, but if you rent in Germany, when you walk in, all you have is 4 walls. You don't have a sink, you don't have a toilet, you don't have floors, you have nothing. You provide everything, even light fixtures. So if you ever move, you take all that. You take the toilet, you take the sink, you take the light fixtures, and the flooring. So most people tend to rent for like a lifetime in some of these places. But they're saying because of their economic problems, and I'll quote, they said, following a decade-long property boom by cheap financing, new construction and mortgage demands are collapsing, while residential and office property developments, they're filing basically in bankruptcy. They're saying we're in insolvency in droves. Go ahead.
Well, one major concern, and I'm going to relate this to something that happened here, is the decreasing demand for property, particularly in major cities. Like Berlin and, how do you say that?
Munich.
Munich. Higher property prices, stricter regulations, and a decrease in population growth. So they've got all the bad stuff happening in Germany. But here's what they've been doing: rent controls, right?
That's never good.
You cannot do price controls on food or rent or anything.
There's always
It messes up the
consequences.
free market. But they're saying younger generations are unable to afford a home. They have what they're calling stricter regulations had to do with rent control. These regulations aim to protect tenants, but have detoured potential investors. And reduce the attractiveness of the market. So it's getting out of whack. The government steps in when they shouldn't be a part of any of it. It should be free market only. But here we are. Now, let's relate this to something that happened back in 2008. We had the 2008 GFC, led to a global financial crisis. The oversupply of housing, decline in demand, rising prices were also a key factor. And here we are. So it looks like we're headed in that direction, but it's in a much different way. And it seems like it's starting other places first. Mm-hmm. It happened in Japan in 1990. The property market crashed. They call it the lost decade. Japan suffered some stagflation for, it's actually more than a decade, probably going on 20 years. Skyrocketing property prices followed by a sharp decline. This led to prolonged stagflation. So I would say we are definitely looking at stagflation, complicated with higher interest rates that are just going to hang around. These interest rates aren't going to just come down tomorrow. I'm thinking years.
They say there's 2 more hikes coming before it goes down. We'll see what happens. But real quick before we go on further, someone just said in Egypt they do the same thing with regard to Germany properties, that you walk in and basically it's studs. So that's interesting to know that in other different countries they're like that, but keep going. I didn't want to miss that comment.
No, that's
Sorry.
good. That's all. I just wanted to relate it to something that happened, 23 years ago.
Well,
24
they
years
say
ago.
that they've come out and they've said that Powell has said pretty much there's going to probably be 2 more hikes before we go down. That's what they're saying at least, right? From the last I looked.
Right.
So I don't know how that will affect everything, but I know it's certainly affecting the commercial market. Before we go any further, I got a funny story I want to tell you. Let's have some funny good news, because everything sometimes would be gloom and doom. And I wish I had a video I could show. Huh?
It can be gloom and doom.
I wish I had a video I could show you. So you guys, last night, I'm sitting out on the tractor, and I'm literally pushing Chris up on forks. You want to tell the story?
I'll do a video on it. So I built a pole barn on the ground, and then we lifted it up with a track hoe and a tractor, like 16 foot in the air.
Yes.
It was sketchy. I don't even know if I want to show you the video. I didn't want to be there. I was up in the air,
and I'm raising him up on forks, and he's in front of me, and he's telling me to go up or down, and I'm going up, up, up. And if I tilted it just the wrong way, because if you guys know forks, if you go to the left, you go down flat. And I'm going, oh my goodness. I'm like, please don't let me drop him.
It was not OSHA approved. I can promise you that.
Anyway, so we have not been on video lately, but we had a good time last night. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about, you ready?
Yep.
Go for it.
Well, we can talk about Dan. I wrote some stuff down from Dan, what he was talking about. And he was saying Dave's auto insurance renewal in California has increased $600 a year. California's having some real trouble with insurance. They're starting to not insure people. They're not taking new clients. I did a video on that, actually. They're just saying no. Can you blame them with the way prices are and the way we have fires and everything else? That doesn't make any sense. Insurance companies are limiting coverage and not writing policies in California. The California Fair Plan offers limited coverage at 3 times the price. It's like that Cobra insurance that we used to get.
Yep, that was a joke.
Yeah, but it's happening in California.
It is.
Health insurance are expected to rise. All the stuff that we use will be going up in value. Got a super chat.
Chris,
Can you read it?
There's some funny things that we got to talk about. They said you got to talk about the video. They said you please got to post a video. You guys, let me just tell you, it was so funny. I wish I could post a video. And yes, it was it the video that you did about your welding? I don't think it was.
Thanks for the super chat, Patrick.
She
I
said.
I said that.
I don't know what it was. Oh, she's laughing. Yes, Pat. Yes, it was hilarious. And I'm sitting there laughing as I'm pushing him up on the sorry, we're completely interrupting you.
No, that's okay. I want everybody to know that Divvy Daddy Patrick, he's going to be at the Silver Symposium September 30 weekend. The link's in the description. I hope to see you guys there. I know Neil's going to be there. I know the Economic Ninja, Nobody Special Finance, Jack, he's going to be there. Joe with Heresy Financial. It's going to be a lot of us there, and it's going to be a good time. So I hope you guys show up. But I get it. Hey, we might have a brand new snake spit flu, and if you're not into wearing your mask on a plane, it's going to be hard for me to.
Well,
but you can't. Somebody says just say no, but I don't know how you do that.
So I read an article today, and I wasn't going to talk about it because I didn't know much we could talk about it, but the government.
Snake spit, that's the name.
No, the government, the CDC, has come out and said
CDC? You can
they're
say
not
CDC.
okay. They're not saying that they are requiring that as of yet. They're saying no, that it's been mentioned, but I read an article today, and I wasn't going to talk about it because we've already had a strike once against us, but as of now, they said they're not going to require it, but they did recommend that you might want to get the you know what before you get on the plane and fly. And I'll leave it at that. So, Andy Scheckman, the time traveler, will be there. Yep, I just talked to his wife the other day. All right, what else we want to talk about?
I'm trying to think who else is going to be there. Go ahead.
So let's talk about Twitter, because we're on Twitter, you guys, and you know they've renamed it called X. So X now plans to collect.
Oh, that's a good one. Farmers insurance just went up 25%. Bless their hearts.
You know, we actually just left Farmers Bureau. Is that you're talking about Farmers Bureau?
It was just farmers.
Farmers, okay.
Yeah, it's time to shop around. Every 3 years, get some more insurance. Make them work for it.
TSA says $9.15 per Alex Jones. I saw that article, and Alex Jones said that he had someone that he knew from TSA, and he said, Good at saying that name?
Be careful saying that
name. Yeah, I know. I'm probably
AJ.
Yeah, I'll say that.
That dude's early. That's all I can say.
So I don't know if that'll be true or not. But I told Chris, I said, I don't even know if I want to fly to Vegas with you when we go to the Silver Symposium, because I don't know. So we'll see on that. But X Plans, which used to be Twitter, is going to start collecting your biometric data now. Your job and your school history, which they always collect your job and school history. I mean, everybody knows that. But they said they're not going to tell you exactly how they're going to connect your collect your biometric data, and they're not going to tell you how they're going to use it. And that is actually on. It's actually on Bloomberg. You guys can check it out and look it out. Look it up. But anyway, so that's where that is. So we're on Twitter right now, but I guess we'll see what happens with that. What else you got next?
115 people dead after the Maui fire. I've been watching some videos on that, and a good friend of mine that I grew up with, his dad, has been sending me stuff, and there's cars that are completely burnt up. I'm talking about aluminum running off away from the car. It got so hot, and nothing else is burnt around it. And there's several cases of this. And have you guys been following the Maui fires? Because something doesn't add up. That's all I'm saying. Politicians and the media are blaming climate change. Who would have thunk that? That's, everything's climate change. The wildfires in Maui are not caused by climate change. Left-wing Democrats who prioritize certain policies contributed to the failure of emergency systems. Okay, maybe that's right. But I want to know why things are burnt and other things aren't. Have you noticed any of that?
Yeah, we have. I think there's some kids missing also that they can't account for.
That's all. I didn't really want to get too far into it because I haven't been covering it. I just hate covering news like that.
Well, so I've had a few of you guys, including Janet. Thanks for sending me some stuff on that. Janet sends me a few things, but I can't ever prove it. So it's really hard for me to talk about it unless I can find something that I can back it up. But it does seem to be some strange things that do seem to be happening over there.
Yeah, I didn't know 115 people died.
Yeah, it's been nuts. A lot. Matter of fact, as I was watching a video, and this was actually factual, it wasn't just hearsay, where people were literally jumping in the ocean and then being picked up, or the water or whatever, and being picked up.
New York has a hotel with 5,000 homeless. It is just chaos.
5,000 now? Oh yeah, my New York has a 5,000, and it's chaos.
I make $21,000 a year. Can't rent an apartment or house.
That's plus Darla.
Oh man.
So Darla, I'm hearing it's getting really bad there. They're even thinking about sending them to Central Park. They were thinking about doing homeless shelters there. I don't know. I heard it's getting really bad.
21,000 a year. You need a side hustle. That's rough. I'm sorry.
That is.
Yeah. Think about. I just hate to hear people not making very much money.
Well, just one more thing. I want a few more things maybe we can hit on. Amazon and Shopify, so you guys know they're kind of two online things. They've kind of hit a deal, which is interesting. I'm curious to know your thoughts on this, and I also posted this on Twitter because I said, is this Amazon's way of kind of maybe sneaking in the door of Shopify, kind of start to take over? They're starting to take over their logistics, or I think their software portion of it, and they struck a deal to allow merchants who pay for Shopify to use the Amazon's logistic network. So I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what that was because that was two separate companies and now they're starting to merge, which will make them one big company because a lot of people use Shopify for small businesses.
The big are getting bigger.
Yep.
Next.
This is just a kind of little funny, not a funny story, but just kind of one of these we laugh at the green stuff. So everybody's trying to go green, right? And Chris and I talk about this all the time, how, come on, every time it seems to go green, it backfires. Well, here's just a kind of ironic story. They were trying to go green with these non-plastic straws. And you remember in New York, when they were so big about it, they banned all the plastic straws. It was huge. You could not have any plastic straws. Well, now we're finding out these non-plastic straws are very non-green, and they're causing everybody cancer, liver, kidney issues and different things like that. So there you go for going green.
Yeah, look, this going green thing's a scam. Buffalo Richard just said aluminum melts at 1,200 Fahrenheit. These cars were, I did a little research and there were some firemen that were talking about it. And they said they've never seen a car burnt. Said if it was trapped under a fuel tanker, maybe it would burn them to that extent. But these cars were in the middle of a gravel parking lot with no fuel around them. A little bit of grass fire, Man, it just doesn't make sense. It's I don't think there are electric vehicles either.
So I watched an interesting video today about that, how about everybody's pushing for the electronic vehicles. But I watched a video about somebody was talking about, and this was scientific, you guys, about our electrical grid. And also I'm reading the book right now. Is it a minute afterwards? What did I tell you? A minute afterwards? It's where if it's an MPV hits the United States, what actually happens. That book is really oh man, it will make you really think. And electronic vehicles, and they were talking about our grid system. Our grid system is so outdated.
They're talking about an EMP, but that's going to affect all the vehicles after 1978. Is that right?
But they said even
I think you got to be on the point system to avoid an EMP.
But even if you have an electronic vehicle now, they said your biggest concern is trying to find the next grid outlet that you can even plug it into. And they're doing rollouts where you can't even plug it up. So they said it's almost impossible at this point to have an electric vehicle.
Well, it kind of goes hand in hand with the 15-minute cities. You know, they don't want you to drive very far, and they want you to fuel your car.
1 second after book. That's it. Thank you.
1 second after. Yeah. I want you to fuel your car with rainbows and unicorn farts.
We got the traffic cameras. Remember we were talking about
yeah.
this. So apparently,
this is part of the Inflation Reduction Act, which is everything
infrastructure.
but what it says.
Sorry, infrastructure legislation he did. Was it part of the Inflation Reduction Act?
I thought it was okay, maybe not.
So I think it was the $1 trillion infrastructure legislation, and he did 2.2 trillion.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I think I told you wrong on that.
Okay.
That's my bad.
That's all right.
Sorry, I told you
I
wrong.
was fed some wrong information.
I did. So go ahead, talk about it, because we were talking about all these cameras are being set up.
So I did a video on this a while back. They've been running these cameras in the UK. Red light cameras is what they're calling them. And if you'll go back in my video, I got a camera on the thumbnail. But what these cameras do is they use AI, and they can look in your car. They can see if you're smoking with an infant, see if you got your seatbelt on. They can check your tags. They can check your registration. They can do all that. The vent, they can just give you like a once-over at a red light, and they can do it to 4 lanes of traffic at a time. It is Big Brother camera. And it's, I say it all the time, the book 1984 is a manual. It's a manual for these people. It was supposed to be a warning, but it's like everything they're doing is exactly what he wrote about.
It is.
You know, it's really impressive. But
So
these cameras are for real, and Biden wants to get them going.
He's authorized states. They can utilize up to 10% of the bill's $15.6 billion highway safety funds to purchase cameras. And they said, you guys, cameras are going up everywhere. We don't even know it. We don't even know it in these different cities. And by the way, we got another super chat. You want to read?
Super chat from Johnny. Very few Americans, constitutionalists, are going to survive the next few months. Enjoy the show. How you are paying attention and prepared. Enjoy the show. How you were paying attention and prepared.
I hope we are. Some days I don't feel like we are enough, but
yeah,
we're trying.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
I'm glad you like the show. And as far as being prepared, guys, what we do is pretty simple. Like, if you don't have a month of food, you know, try to get 2 weeks and then try to double that. And if you got 6 months, get a year. Eat off the front. Food and water, you know, try to secure those sources. You know what we do, guys. We talk about it all the time. Prepping. We know when times are good and nothing's happening, it's easy to get lax. And to be honest with you, right now is the time. Really, 20 years ago was probably the best time to start stacking precious metals and preparing. And a lot of you guys have been doing that. I know several of you have been stacking for years. Carlos, I appreciate you being here, man. Would you like to be a moderator? Let me know if you want to be a moderator. He's in all the live streams, and I really appreciate it. Go ahead.
So, you guys, we've been talking about this climate, which is climate, whatever. More than 1,600 scientists, including 2 Nobel I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Nobel laureates.
They have declared it's a myth. The climate emergency is a myth. They actually came out.
Better not be a climate denier.
This is on the news that just came out today. From around the world have signed a declaration saying there is no climate emergency, and they strongly oppose the harmful and unrealistic net zero CO2 policy being pushed around the globe. You guys can get on look on this. This is once on our Twitter. I'll put the article out there. But scientists now are signing on, saying what we've been saying, other people have been saying.
You know, you can't go on legacy media if you're a climate denier. None of them. MSNBC, Fox. If you don't just get right in line with the climate scam, then you are not welcome. Isn't that crazy? And now you've got 1,600 scientists saying, "Hey, it's a scam." What was funny was this is the worst drought since 1,200 years ago. I read that and I just laughed out loud. I was thinking, what happened 1,200 years ago? You know? It doesn't make any sense. But here we are. And there's a lot of scams going on. Be careful on the medicine you're taking, guys. I'm just telling you.
Well, that's all I've got. You guys go hit the like button. We'll try to be a little bit more coming on here more often. We've been a little bit busy. Maybe I'll put him back on the tractor.
Pole barn. Do you think you're going to like it? Guys, have an awesome day. We'll see you in the next one. Later.